Okay, I think everybody's starting to get settled in. I'm just going to give it just a few more minutes so that everybody can kind of get settled before we get started. There was some feedback that when I start right at 7, not everybody is actually logged in and ready to go. Erin, has the waiting room been turned off?
It has.
Thank you so much. Okay, so welcome to the September, I can't believe it's September, meeting of the Portland Modern Quilt Guild. We're really excited to have everybody here, so welcome. Please make sure that you mute your audio and turn off your video, and we do have closed captioning available if you need that. I'd like to start by thanking our business sponsors, Modern Domestic, Bolt, Neighborhood Fabric Boutique, Aloha Sewing and Vacuum, and Montevilla Sewing Centers. And up next, Carol Suber, our wonderful programs, one of our members of our programs team is going to go through and tell you what's coming up next in the next couple of months. So Carol, if you are here, take it away.
I are here.
Hold on, I'm getting my slides.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. All right, coming up next month, we have Tara Miller, who's going to be doing a presentation for us. And just as a reminder, in October, our program features a presentation by Tara, but there is no workshop. But we're going to hear about some other opportunities for you to get your stitch on in October in just a little bit. Tara's presentation is going to be graphic quilts of the 20th century that takes place on October 21st during our regular, or is that our regular? During October 21st meeting. All right. And then in November, all right, we have Audrey Esseray, and some of you may have taken a class with her earlier this year. Audrey's going to be exploring curves on November 13th. This is a workshop, and the price for that workshop will be $40. So you can look for that to show up on the workshop page in the Guild website, November 13th. And then Carolina Oneto will be presenting Friends of Color at our meeting in November 18th at 7 p.m. And then she's doing a workshop on organic shapes on November 21st, that weekend. And December, rounding out the year, is Deborah Boschert, who's going to be doing her presentation at our Guild meeting, Captivating Compositions, on December 9th. And then her workshop, Head, Heart, and Hands, Developing Your Creative Voice, will send you into the Christmas season, holiday season, and into the new year with some skills that will allow you to get set for 2022. So those are going to be our workshops through to December.
Thank you, Carol. And now Susan is going to do a little presentation about all of our out-of-town members.
Hi, thank you, Chris. And Carol, thanks so much for all that you and Michelle have done this year to bring such amazing workshops. It really has been such a bright spot, I think, for so many of us to get to do these little bits of joy from home in a time where we're not really maybe fabric shopping in person or taking any classes in the same room. Tonight, since we're welcoming two incredible Canadian presenters, we really wanted to spotlight the 20% of our guild almost who don't live anywhere near Portland. And we're just really, really happy and thrilled to have you with us. It's been such a hard and isolating time with the last 18 months of COVID limitations. But one of the brightest and most wonderful silver linings of the Zoom era has been the chance to welcome more than 50 of you to our guild, as well as guests from pretty much everywhere. who would like to visit for just one meeting and see a particular speaker. We have PMQG members from all over Oregon and the Pacific Northwest, 9 states, and 4 Canadian provinces, including some amazing folks who stay up really late for our meetings. So if it's after 10 p.m. where you are, we are especially impressed, and we're really glad to have you with us. And we hope our weekend programming is a little more Eastern time friendly. But that's dedication, logging on to a PMQG meeting at 10 p.m. because you know you're going to get to see Krista Henneberry. We're so excited to especially spotlight our international PMQG members tonight. Of our 350 members this year, 15 of you live in Canada, which we're thrilled about. In a time where we can't really travel or even meet in person, the chance to connect with other creative folks we'd never get to meet in our own city or town is such a gift. If Canada Post and the USPS could just get along a little better and a little more affordably, that would be a dream, but here we all are, and it's been pretty amazing growing our guild in this way that's been as inclusive as I could ever imagine. We've really appreciated deepening our connections with our more distant members and learning so much together with the amazing speakers and teachers who visited us this year. I think we're long overdue for a 4th Pacific Northwest MQG meetup. I don't want to rope in the 2022 or 23 board, but I think I'm pretty confident saying, since you're all members of our guild now, we'd be happy to host you. And we have no sales tax for your fabric shopping needs, and many excited members who'd love to tell you all of our favorite spots. So whenever it's safe again, it will be so nice to get together. But until then, this is a pretty good plan B. Chris, if you could go to the next slide, that would be awesome. Thank you. So seeing everyone's beautiful work in our show and tells or in classes is just the icing on the cake. And so I reached out to ask if any of our international members would like to share any of their quilts or projects in a special spotlight. And these are 13, lucky 13 of the beautiful photos we received. We'll be sharing links and credits in the chat, thanks to our amazing secretary, Anne, so you can find a kindred spirit or new favorite pattern. Several of these quilts will also be in our regular show and tell at the end of the meeting, so you can hear lots more details from their amazing makers then too. The top row is a colorful, gorgeous rainbow of work, starting with Linda Tim's beautiful rhythm quilt, which will be in show and tell. So she'll be sharing that in greater detail. And I know you all want to see the quilting up close because it's stunning. Next to it is a very special quilt, a collective rainbow round robin for Holly Broadland, who is a Pacific Northwest superstar, founded and one of the earliest members of Vancouver Modern Quilt Guild, which is filled with wonderful folks. And her friends, including Krista, Breen, Amy, who submitted this lovely photo, and Elizabeth Geller, surprised her with it a little late for the 10th anniversary of the VMQG's founding. COVID got in the way, but look how beautiful it turned out. The next photo, those who have visited Oregon's North Coast would recognize the wreck of the Peter Iredell in the background. Our own Block of the Month designer, Tara Evans, shared this beautiful quilt and did this photo shoot on a trip to the Oregon coast this summer. And thank you, Anne. She's been putting links in the chat so you can find people's Instagrams or pattern names or anything else. And please put any questions in the chat and folks who are here can answer. Carol Stanley shared this beautiful August quilt laid out on the grass, made from Tamara Kate's Big Bling pattern. And the last one in the row is Amy James sent us their Simply Perfect Homo Sweet Homo quilt. The middle section is all patterns and classes projects of Krista Henneberry's. The first one is Carol's charming thread play bag from a class with Krista. Next to it is Nadia Sokol's beautiful Speed Date with Improv mini. I just want to shout out that there are 3 spots left in our class with Krista, which is not this Saturday. It is next Saturday, September 18th. So you might want to open a new window and jump on that. But she'll be teaching for us, and Anna's just put the link in the chat. She'll be teaching for us in about the following weekend, September 18th. So you have a little time to pick out your favorite solid color to pair with black and white. And then the next quilt is also a Krista class original. Amy started their courthouse steps quilt in a class of Krista's, and next to it also made this beautiful thread play bag, showing how versatile and creative Krista's teaching is to inspire such different and super cool results, as Carol's beauty on the other side of the row. The last row is all inspired by and patterned by and taught by Breen Campbell. Amy Dame pattern tested Badass for Breen, as you can see in the lower left corner, and they knocked it out of the park. They also made this connected quilt using her Love Burst pattern. Next to that, Carol made this lovely bag with some of her mid-mod swap blocks, along with several other amazing projects we didn't have room to squeeze in, but I know this will be such an amazing swap. I can't wait to hear more about it from Breen, and I'm so honored that our guild will get to participate too. Amy also pattern tested Black Lives Matter, which is a sibling, like a fellow fundraiser for Handmade Collective, which you'll hear lots more about in a minute. The next slide would be great, Chris. So introducing Breen Campbell, I know many of you know her work well, and this mid-mod swap project is a remarkable fundraiser that makes a difference. But I wanted to share two other meaningful projects Breen has done that you may not have heard about yet or seen as much about, since they were a bit earlier. One is To Boston with Love, which Anne has put. Oh, sorry, Nadia, didn't mean to mispronounce her last name. Now I'll remember. I was lucky enough to cross paths with Breen and her partner on this beautiful project, Amy Friend, another quilting hero of ours. And they created an opportunity for quilters all over the country and the world to send beautiful pieces to Boston in the wake of the Boston Marathon bombing, and took a terrible tragedy and made beauty, community, and healing from that. The Lynn Valley Love Project, which you'll see a familiar face, Krista is one of the collaborators. Anne's popped in the chat how you can follow that on Instagram, but it's yet another way that Breen has done something absolutely beautiful in the aftermath of loss. And it's something that I admire about her, maybe the most, although her color sense and design are pretty tough to edge out. So I also just wanted to finish with that she is a swap star. It's beautifully organized, it's so well done. And I had the great good fortune in 2012 when we all met up in Seattle with Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland's MPGs. We had a charity sew day at Island Quilter, and we swapped bags with the secret recipient. I had the amazing good luck to get this zip bag from Breen, because I mentioned that I love Flea Market Fancy and Denise Schmidt. And it's so pretty. I use it all the time now for my embroidery. There's my little marking pins are inside. And I went up to her and was like, I can't believe how beautiful this is. I love it so much. Thank you. And she was like, oh, you're so welcome. And then she said, I made you an earlier bag, but I didn't think you would like it. So I thought I'd just go with Denise Schmidt. And I was like, you did? What was the other one like? And she said, oh, I have it with me. And she pulled this out of her sewing bag. And I don't even think I could talk for the first minute. It was just so amazing and beautiful. And this is just Breen's genius, taking something so charming and clever and just like being like, oh, I'll make a different one. You might like that better. But I was so overwhelmed that I was just couldn't even put into words how much I loved it. So she very graciously gave me both. And I did a little bit of secret research with a VMQG friend, did some secret shopping, got her a few half yards of a fabric line that I was assured that she loved, but I still feel like I hit the quilter jackpot that day, and I'm not sure how I'm ever gonna repay the good karma that brought me this little guy. But without more detail, I would love to thank our wonderful treasurer, Angel, and her partner, Amanda, in bringing Breen to our guild and creating this opportunity for the swap. Thank you both so much. And Breen, we can't wait to hear all about the swap and how we can all sign up and get involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. That was quite the intro. If I can live up to it now. So I'm here to share a little bit with you about the swap and also the fundraiser that comes with it. So It's a swap that I designed for the Vancouver Modern Quilt Guild, and in January this year, with the goal of us being able to interact with each other, because as like you guys, we're all on Zoom, we're all apart from each other, and we were looking for something to connect remotely. And then once I'd done the work, I figured I had the work, and I also had set up this fundraiser program for scholarships. And I thought, hey, I can put this work I did for the mini mod swap for Vancouver to work. And it's, I think you're somewhere around about the 50th guild that's participated in this. So it's fantastic. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the fundraiser part as I go along, but I'm going to start now by sharing about the swap itself. I'm just going to open this. Okay, great. So the swap is called the Mini Mod Swap, and the goal of it was to design some simple little blocks. Some of them you'll be very familiar with, like the half square triangles that you don't need a pattern for, and then others are a little bit more complex. But the goal was to sort of capture the essence of modern quilting with sort of simple geometric shapes, and to create a swap that was quick to do and easy to participate in. It was sort of a feel-good exercise. So what's involved? It's a fun and easy opt-in swap. So you choose whether you want to participate or not. There's no pressure, obviously. If you decide to participate, you get to choose a color palette and a background color, which will then be what is made for you. You'll get put into groups of 5 people, and you only have to make 30 blocks. But I will say that once you get started, it's hard to stop at 30. They're pretty addictive to make. I see there's some people in this meeting that's like Carol Stanley. I don't know. I think Carol's done about 4 of these so far, so she can speak to that. But they're pretty addictive. So of those 30 blocks, you keep 6 for yourself, and then you mail the other 4 people in your group. You mail them 6 blocks each. So it's pretty easy. It's almost like a little chain letter, and then you get these envelopes back you get 4 more envelopes back with 6 blocks. So you get the same back as what you send out, but it's got your friends' great energy and cute messages and things like that. The blocks are small. They're 1.5 inch finished, 2 inch unfinished. So they're kind of like candy. And then, of course, there's a fundraising component, as I mentioned. It's like a charity quilt block drive, excepting you get to keep the blocks and you get to do something good at the same time while you're having fun. So let's have a look at the color palettes. So there are 3 palettes. There's cool brights, warm brights, and neutrals. So something for everyone. And then you get to also choose a background color. And you can see from these examples how the color palettes vary as you change the background palette. So the options for background are white, black, and grays. If you're making for people that have picked white, try and pick a white or a black if they've chosen black. If they have chosen gray as a background, you can use any gray, and you'll see how on these ones, it's more of a mottled feeling if you have the gray. So it's kind of neat. Oh, it's doing that thing again. Okay, there we go. So the rules of play are that the block designs have to be geometric. You don't have to use the ones in the pattern that are provided, although there are quite a few options there, but the goal is for them to be geometric because you want it to have a sense of consistency when you put everything together. Each block has only 1 color in it plus the background. And when you send your 6 blocks to your group pals, to make sure that you have 6 different blocks. So you don't send them 6 of the same or 6 all easy ones, give them some variety. And also use a variety of colors within their palette. So if they choose warm brights, for example, you can send them orange, red, pink, yellow, all within that warm, rich palette. And if it's cool brights, obviously blues, greens, purples, and things like that. And then neutrals are obviously neutrals. So solid fabrics only. So that's Kona solids, Kona colors, Bella, Free Spirit Designer, etc. So no sort of no prints, no batiks or things like that. They can be either regularly pieced or using FPP, but not improv. Again, just for the sake of consistency, because improv would look a little different. And then here are some examples of geometric shapes. So as I said, you can also come up with your own geometric ones if you want, but this is a good guide as to where it should go to stay within that sort of modern geometric look and feel. And you can see it's quite fun also to have some variation of scale. So some of the blocks have big amounts of color and others have little, and you'll see the projects that I show you, it's quite neat to have that variation of scale and also of direction. So if you have some things that have got all, all horizontal and then some angled and a few curves thrown into the mix, it makes it more playful. So these are the FPP patterns that are included. You can see there's some that are really simple, that are just, 2 simple lines. So if you're not an expert at FPP, this is a great way to start. You can pick the easy ones. If you like to play with little teeny bits of color and fun and get a little bit more obsessive like I do, we have more complex ones. Down here we have the flying geese, or as I call them, the goslings, because they're so teeny. So there's the twins and the triplets. And then over here we have some little small shapes as well. And it's kind of neat mixing them all together. There's also a curve piecing template. And as you can see, there's a little bit extra seam allowance here. So that's a little wiggle room that you can trim down afterwards. So important thing to note that size matters. So your blocks need to be trimmed to 2 inches squared when you mail them. So that when they are finished size, they'll be 1.5, because obviously if they're slightly off, they're not going to fit together. So because you're making, 5 makers on one project. So it's important that size is correct. If you're doing regular piecing, it's good to do a quick seam allowance accuracy check before you start. I know Krista has a great test for that on one of her blogs. She's got a little reference to that. Which is neat, or you could just do a test with using a piece of washi tape to mark your 1/4 inch if it's not quite accurate. And then for FPP templates, make sure you print it 100% size, and just print 1 page first and check that they are actually 100%, because sometimes the printer can shrink them slightly. I've also found that if you print within a web browser, sometimes it shrinks it slightly, so it's best to download the document first and then open with a PDF reader such as Adobe Reader or Microsoft Edge. And for the FPP blocks, to backstitch at beginning and end of seams and to leave the paper on before shipping. Otherwise, the stitching comes undone. So to help you guys out, there's 4 videos that show you just the steps to make the blocks, and also to give you, more importantly, the quilt math. So it gives you all the measurements that you need for either making 1 block or for making 5 at a time. So if you wanted to, for example, be very efficient and organized and make all of the members in your group the same block, so 6 blocks times 5, the math is there for you. There's also a little video I made on how to do mini curves. They're not hard, as you're just using scraps to test them out. I'd say give it 2 or 3 goes and you'll be away to the races. It's really fun. The curve pieces are actually the most fun once you get going. So this is what the YouTube videos look like. They give you the math for doing 1 block and the basic steps on how to do it. And then they give you the measurements for doing 5 blocks of the same and how you get to those steps. So it walks you through, really, it's all the information is there for you to use. And then, of course, you get your little blocks in the mail. And this is what it feels like. This is one I got from one of my group mates. So super fun. Like I say, it's like getting candy in the mail. And then once you've got all your blocks, that's when the fun starts. You get to arrange them and decide what you want to do with them. And these are the Cool Brights on white. You can see here Warm Brights on white over here. This is 25 blocks, so a little bit less than the total amount. On the right here, we've got neutrals. So it was a neutral palette on grays, and that one was 30 blocks. So that's the full amount if you do all 30. This is what it would look like if you added some sashing. This is extra blocks. I think this was 49. So it makes a 16.5 inch square, kind of neat for a pillow if you add some sashing. So it has a totally different look and feel if you add sashing. If you're a keener, you can sign up for more than once. If you can't decide on a color palette, just make sure for your organizer's sake that you number your sign up so that they know it was intentional, because we had someone sign up twice by mistake on ours. So just put your name Katie Keener 1 and Katie Keener 2, and if you're super keen, you can go Katie Keener 3, whatever, just so that they know that you intentionally mean to sign up. And then to make, obviously, the number of times you sign up, you'll have to make that many blocks. If you sign up twice, you make twice as many blocks, and then you receive twice as many blocks, and you end up with a bigger project. The benefit of doing 2 groups is that you get to make a rainbow palette. which is what this looks like, warm brights and cool brights. And then you can go, you know, unicorns and rainbows and have some fun with that. So it's pretty fun once you, as you can see, if you start to make more, it gets really fun to play with. So you're probably thinking, well, what the heck am I going to do with all of those tiny little blocks? Well, I have some examples to show you. So this is a little drawstring pouch. I got a free pattern online. There's a link on my Instagram post for this. I did have to adjust these patterns slightly to fit the block size, but easy enough to do. On the right, here's a simple cube pin cushion that I put together. That's the Cool Brights on gray. Then I made a fabric tray using Annie Lahouy's pattern. I adjusted it slightly to fit the dimensions of the blocks with a bit of linen inside. It's kind of neat. This one was actually using a pattern from Krista Hennebury's book. Again, I had to adjust it slightly, but this was what I used my rainbow blocks for, was this thread catcher. So really cute with a bit of orange Essex linen inside. It's a great pattern of Krista's from her Make It Take It book. And then I had a bunch of curves left over. So I made a little snap frame pouch for I actually use it for my earpods, not for my clips. I have too many clips to fit in that pouch. But really easy, it's like a little caterpillar, and then I just folded it over. So again, with the rainbow. Here are some examples from the Vancouver Guild members, just to give you some ideas of what you could do. So Kristen made this beautiful matchstick quilted mini, and Lisa made this great big square pouch. Amy Dame made this amazing book cover that they replaced the inside book with. And of course, being a big 80s fan, they went with the rainbow and black. Erica made this beautiful pillow. I really love what she did with the quilting here and then the sashing around it. The bottom one is Rita. She made a nice little zippy pouch with hers. And then Diane at the top here made another little basket. So timing is important. So let's talk about the timing for your guild. So the sign up link is, if it's not live already tonight, it will be live for you tonight. So you can sign up tonight. And the sign up deadline is September the 17th. So you've got 8 days to sign up. Get your information in there for your organizers, Angel and Amanda. And then your group pattern will go and instructions will go out by the 21st. You'll get an email back that'll give all the information from your group with the pattern and instructions by September 21st. And you've got just over a month to mail. So you've got 5 weeks about before you have to mail all your packages out to your pals. And then you have to have your finished project for the December meeting on December 9th. So lots of time. And, you know, September is a great time to sign up for a new project. Sort of almost, I always find it's the beginning of the year for me. So this is what the charity is about. The Handmade Collective Awards are a scholarship fund that have been set up at a university in Toronto called Ryerson University. And I set it up last year in response to all the racial tension that was going on. And I just felt like I needed to be a little bit more long-term focused with my social justice work. And so I went to I did a whole bunch of research and eventually decided that this was the right solution. But I have to say it was months of work and research and learning for me. This is not my area of expertise. And so once it was all set up and they wanted to know what I wanted to call it, I said to them, I wanted to call it something that embraced the entire maker community, because in our maker community, not even just the quilters, but the maker community in general, I find is incredibly philanthropic, has big hearts. And I think at this time, they really want to do something, but they don't necessarily know what to do. So I figured if I set up this award, it was easy for people to either have their own fundraisers to contribute, or they could participate in the fundraisers that I was doing. So each year there'll be 3 awards of $1,000 each awarded, one to a person of color, one to an Indigenous student, and one to a TUS LGBTQ student. We've already sent out the first 3, and they're actually links on my YouTube channel or on the Instagram for Handmade Collective Awards. You can see 2 out of the 3 inaugural students talking about what it meant to them, and it's really beautiful. So each person that signs up to do the mini mod swap makes their own donation. It's just a small donation that we're asking, $3 to $5. I think that your guild is going with everybody making their own donation. And so you can give more if you want, obviously. If you're in Canada, you get a tax receipt. Unfortunately, I don't think that the university is registered as a nonprofit in the States, so you don't get one in the States, but it's about the amount of money you'd spend if you made a block and sent it to a community block drive with the postage. And of course, the beautiful thing about it is that as we all work together, there's a sort of a collective healing that comes from this collective energy. And so far, it's been less than a year since these awards were set up. And I think I got a tally yesterday so that I would have it for you guys. And I think we had $16,996. So we're well past our 5-year goal, which is fantastic. So now we're into the gravy part of bonus ones. These are the first 2 of the first 3 recipients. So Jaya was our first person of color student, and Naregan was the first LGBTQ student. And Jaya is actually in an HR program, and she hopes to be a diversity person in a corporate position one day. So perfect candidate and just fantastic. So I encourage you to go to the YouTube and watch their videos. This is just a little bit about me if you're looking to learn more about what I do and my other community projects. So I'm at Happy So Lucky on Instagram. As Susan kindly introduced me, I'm Breen Campbell from Vancouver, although I'm in Toronto today. And the Instagram for the award is the Handmade Collective Awards. And I encourage you to follow there so you can learn about the progress. And if you're interested in hosting your own fundraiser to participate, to contribute, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk more with you about that. And the YouTubes and tutorials, which is the important part for the quilt math for this project, is also Happy So Lucky. So there's my, there'll be, hopefully I'll put a link in the chat with a link to the YouTube, or actually it's all on the pattern as well. You'll get it with your email. So are you in? If you wanted to see more about what others have made, you can see the hashtag on Instagram is MiniModSwap. You make a minimum of 30 blocks, you mail 4 envelopes with 6 each, and your mailing deadline is October 29. So that's just a little recap, so you can decide whether or not you're in. And that is the end of my sharing. And does anybody have any questions for me? I'm not sure if anyone is, I'll just whip through here. Doesn't look like any questions. Just
Feel free to unmute if you have a question. This is Chris, by the way, if anybody has a question.
I will say, if anyone is, the one question I sometimes get is people are nervous of the size. So I would say, don't be scared of the size. First of all, tiny bits of fabric. So if you waste them, it really doesn't matter. But if you really are scared of the size, pick blocks that you can make bigger. So make things like a half square triangle, a 4 square, hourglass. Some of the paper piecing ones you can make bigger. There's lots of really simple ones, a brick block. Make them bigger and trim them down to 2 squared. The most important thing with this project is to connect with your buddies at the Guild and make something fun. It's a quick and easy project to participate in. So that's the first important thing. And then of course, participating just in general in the swap and being a part of the fundraiser. So don't worry about the fact that you have, some of them are more complex. If that's not your level of expertise, just pick things that will make you enjoy the project, because that's really the most important thing here. So thank you very much to Amanda and Angel for bringing me in here to share this with you. I really look forward to seeing all of your posts, and hopefully you guys have a lot of fun with it. I see there's one question there about removing the paper. No, so if you're doing FPP, please leave the paper on. And if you're doing FPP, remember to backstitch at the beginning of your stitches to make sure that the stitching doesn't come on. Is there a preferred fabric line for this? No, as long as it's solids, we're all good, because everyone's going to have different stuff in their stash. So it doesn't have to necessarily be Kona. It can be any brand of solids, as long as it's not printed or grunge or something like that. It should be a solid, so like a plain color, and obviously cotton, quilting cotton. So I think that's it. I think I'm done.
Thank you so much. We're really excited.
Thank you very, very much for having me on your meeting, and over to you guys, and look forward to Krista's talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so back to Susan. to introduce our featured speaker tonight.
Thank you, Chris and Breen. That was wonderful. I was already excited, and now I'm just like waiting to decide on warm, cool, or neutral, but I might go rainbow. Thank you so much again. Krista, we are so excited to have you, and it feels like Portland, Vancouver, and all over the country's meetup just being together tonight. Krista wrote herself a lovely intro, which I'm going to share, but I wanted to mention now that we'll be doing a Q&A in the end of the talk with Krista. So please add any questions to the chat and we'll share those out. A board member will just read them off, and we'll look forward to hearing all about her dreamy work and career as she goes. Krista is a former geoscientist who abandoned her dream of becoming a cabinet maker when her family moved to a house without a suitable space to make sawdust. She discovered a quilt shop in her new neighborhood, signed up for a row by row quilt class, and hasn't touched a table saw since. Eventually that shop closed, and Krista found new community by starting a successful day retreat business and actively participating in local and national guilds. Then, seeking to expand her quilt community, she combined her love of photography and casual storytelling to start her blog, Poppy Print, in 2009. Exploring her own designs and piecing techniques led to publishing several magazine patterns and writing a compilation book of retreat-based projects called Make It, Take It with Martingale in 2015. Krista's enjoyed a very active teaching and lecturing career across Canada and internationally, yay, that she's now pursuing on Zoom. Her professional affiliations include working as a certified oral philosophy. Oh my gosh, I can normally, when I'm not talking to 93 people, pronounce this, so my apologies. She's an RPhil philosophy lecturer, thank you, and pattern designer for Oakshott Fabrics. Tonight's lecture marks her return to work after a 3-month hiatus, during which she and her husband packed up their family home of 21 years to resettle on a beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, islands not far from Vancouver. Krista is also a generous, thoughtful, and incredibly creative teacher, designer, and friend. The care she takes shines through in every project, and she has such a warm and inviting approach. One of the things I'm the most thankful for, as I mentioned, is the number of wonderful people near and far who have joined our guild this year and created community with us. But one of the things I'm proudest of as one of the 8 2021 board members is that we are truly programming artists, teachers, and speakers who share our values. And Krista is a bright, shining example of that mission, as is Breen. Thanks, Breen. We are so glad to have you with us tonight. Please join me in welcoming Krista Henneberry.
Okay. So I think we have just a few minutes for some questions if anybody wants to pop some of them into the chat. I can start.
Okay.
So you talk about your signatures or how to search for your signature style. And I'm just curious, how would you define your signature style, since you seem to kind of dabble in so many different things?
I know. Well, as I said, like the spoiler alert at the start, I'm not sure if I've arrived yet, but I kind of describe myself as a traditionally informed modern quilter. So I kind of think that's the best way to describe my style. And as I talked about, sort of blending improv piecing techniques, sometimes bringing it all together in a constructed way, in a very structural way that makes sense for my mathematical brain. The speed date sample is something that is really far out for me because it's just such a mosaic, such a sort of mashup. But it's good. It's good to stretch, and I want to do more of that work. But it's hard work. It doesn't come easy to me.
So do you feel like you're still kind of stretching and finding?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I started quilting over 20 years ago, and I feel like I have another 20 years in me. So like, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. You know, I've come a long way in these 20. And so, I mean, maybe I'll be making like infinitesimally small art quilts with thread painting by the time I'm 75. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's see, does anybody else have any questions? I'm seeing a lot of people are saying that this was so inspirational.
Oh, thanks.
Formative.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay. Well,
I have a silly question.
yes.
So, Krista, I don't know if other people noticed this or not, but hi, I don't know if you can see me or not, but hopefully
It's you, but your audio is echoey. What is it that you noticed?
my connections are really unstable, so I'm house sitting. Sorry. You take your photos against your blue house. And does your new house have a place for you to take your photos on? The important questions here.
Yes, that is a very important question. And I actually, someone else asked me the same question at a different talk. And my new house is also made of cedar shake, but they're unfinished, unpainted. They're just sort of raw cedar. And so I think that may be my new backdrop. I also have this gigantic new design wall that's 64 square feet. So you might see photos with batting borders around them, but hopefully I can take some shots outside. And I think I might use some trees, like I might get something strung up in the forest. We have, we're surrounded by forest. So I need to make use of those lovely trees out there. Yeah, I haven't got there yet.
Let's see, Jessica asks, you referenced a workshop by Marianne somebody.
Marianne Hack, yes.
She wanted to know what the last name was.
Oh yes, Haak. And she, I'm not sure if she's still teaching. She's sort of this really incredible teacher and artist. All her quilts are done, quilt as you go. She's shown several at QuiltCon. She's won awards at Quilt Canada, but she's a reluctant teacher. She's very shy. And so I know she's just taught a few times, and you can always check in with her. I don't think she's teaching online, but I could be wrong. Lots of us said we weren't going to, and look at us now. So she might be in that camp.
Okay.
She's, on Instagram, she's quilts from the edge, I believe is her handle. Or quilting from the edge, something like that.
Okay.
So you can find her there.
So much. I guess we will go to our business portion of the meeting, but thank you so much. We really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to later in the month for your workshop.
Me too. Yeah, I look forward to working with you guys. Thanks so much for the invitation. I really enjoyed spending time with you tonight.
Yeah, we're really excited. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my screen share. And I just wanted to mention before we move on, because it is starting to get quite late, we have quite a few announcements during our business portion, and I understand that it's getting late for a lot of you. This meeting is going to be recorded, and it will be on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch it there. And also on Monday, Erin will be putting out a newsletter. So you'll get all of the important information that's coming out there as well. So don't feel like anything if you need to go to bed. Okay, so Susan is going to talk about our bonus programs that are coming up.
Great, thank you so much, Chris. We can just go to the first one and share all of them. Our wonderful treasurer, Angel Van Note, who many of you know, and who was instrumental in bringing Breen and the mini mod swap with her partner, Amanda, to our guild, realized a few months ago that we actually had, with our wonderful membership this year, we had extra budget for programs and workshops. And so we created a new idea to bring free 1 hour drop-in, no registration, no workshop like materials list. Just come hang out, learn something fun, listen to a lecture or a presentation, and just enjoy your Saturday or Thursday night. So the first one is coming up in a few weeks, and it's going to be 2 different 1 hour programs. The first one is at 10 a.m. Pacific, and Meg Cox, who's a remarkable quilt journalist, is going to teach us how to take better quilt photos now. And the presentation will include tons of her own hands-on ideas and techniques, and you leave with a PDF worksheet full of all the exact techniques and products she recommends. And it's tailored towards those of us who just use our phone to take quilt photos and don't maybe even have a DSLR, which is nice. Then at noon, we're going to have Valerie Wells of our own Oregonian, Central Oregon Modern Quilt Guild's Star and Sisters, teaching us block printing, carving, and everything in between. And she'll be showing a live demo, answering questions, and showing a fabric trunk show of her own original designs. So it will be a lovely day. We structured these so there's an hour in the middle. We'll leave the Zoom open if people want to chat. If you want to take a break and get coffee or an early lunch, you can do that too. And we wanted to make it super East Coast and Eastern time friendly so that you can enjoy your Saturday and not be up until midnight. And the next one is oh, no worries. So we wanted to include some programs on alternate Thursdays, just because we know that that's a typical time that you may have us on your calendar. I just want to quickly mention, thank you so much to everyone for your flexibility this month. Our typical monthly meeting would have fallen on Yom Kippur, and with the Jewish high holidays and holy days this month, we really wanted to schedule around those. So thank you to everyone for being understanding and coming a week early to our meeting. This will be another Thursday later in the month. We wanted to fill in the pretty long gap between our September and October meetings. So on the 30th, we're going to welcome 5 of our business members. Kazumi, Nancy, Chris, Eileen, and Marty will all be sharing their tips, tricks, advice for newer quilters who may not have worked with a long arm quilter before, and just their portfolio pieces. So it should be a fun and inspiring evening, and we're really excited to, if you happen to be in person in 2018, we did this as a walk around the room and visit people's stations. And so we're happy to revisit it over Zoom and make it even more inclusive. So here's our announcement, yet another international superstar we're welcoming. On Saturday, October 9th at 10 a.m., we're going to include a wonderful program by Andrea Sang Jackson. She'll be giving her Light and Fabric Approaches to Transparency lecture. If you know her work, she makes incredibly beautiful, intricate, often gemstones and beautifully pieced quilts and blocks, and she's going to be sharing some of her techniques and her ideas with us. And this will again just be a drop-in lecture. There's no cost, there's no registration. It's just simply open to all 2021 PMPG members. The second one of the day is with Audrey Esseray, and some of you may have taken her amazing watercolor quilt class that we were able to offer twice last year, and she's her Instagram is Cotton and Bourbon. Andrea Sang Jackson's Instagram is Third Story Workshop if you'd like to see more of either of their work. But Audrey is going to teach a foundation paper piecing demo that is beginner friendly, but will include all of her tips and ideas that kind of bring it to the next level. So if you are familiar with foundation paper piecing, you will hopefully learn some new ideas to add to your repertoire. And this would be perfect for those of us who are doing the mini mod swap and would like a little refresher on like best practice and fun ways to piece these tiny, beautiful blocks. Our next one is still under wraps because we're in the contract stage, but we will have 2 more bonus programs. I can let you know now. They'll be at 10 a.m. and noon, and they'll be wonderful. But until we actually have signed contracts, and it's been such a busy time, and I think a lot of us are struggling with intense COVID fatigue, we're just getting there. So we'll look forward to sharing those as soon as we can. And please save the date for now so that you can enjoy a little bit of PMQG in your weekend.
Thank you, Susan. And I just wanted to say a really quick thanks to Susan and Aaron for organizing all of these bonus programs. They're the ones who are did a lot of the legwork in bringing these great programs to you. So thank you so much. Okay, I wanted to talk about the meeting ballot results. So we sent out the ballot last month to discuss how we will be meeting next year. And one of the reasons why this was really important is because guild memberships are coming, guild renewal membership is coming up. And we wanted to make sure that all members knew what 2022 was going to look like, so that you're not purchasing a membership and then, you know, find out that you're not going to be able to make it to most or half of the meetings. So the first choice, and I apologize that some of the writing on the slide is really small, so I tried to make it more visible, but I can tell you that the most popular choice was the Zoom only. And that was the first best choice. 55% of the people voted for that. The next was at about 24%, a quarterly with the limited live streaming, and then followed by no live streaming, quarterly meetings, and then in person with live streaming and in person with no live streaming. So I also have it displayed another way, showing all of the results, with the first choice being Zoom only. So rather than percentages, this is the number of people that voted. And you can see that the second best option was the in-person quarterly with limited live streaming. So next year, we are looking at hosting meetings on Zoom, hosting workshops on Zoom. And so that means that our members who might not feel comfortable with meeting with, you know, I mean, when we're just local only, our meetings are usually about 100 people. So if you're not, you know, this means that people that are not comfortable meeting with 100 people will be able to join. Our members from far will be able to still join. And I'm excited that we're working this way. We have an opportunity to participate in a quilt show. The Northwest Quilting Expo has invited us to exhibit our PMQG quilts as a special exhibit. And I think, Nancy, if you are still here, you were going to talk about this.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so super excited to see everybody's quilts, at least coming over to my studio. So we're asking people to just sign up. You have until September 17th to submit your quilt to the form, and then drop it off to my studio, Just Quilting, by the 20th. We have lots of spaces available, so can't wait to see yours.
Yes. And so there's no jurying process, right? It's just if you sign up,
You're in.
accepted. Yeah. And so it's one quilt per member. And once we fill all the spots, I believe the form will turn into a wait list, because the person organizing the show said, yeah, we can guarantee 30 spots or more if you need to. So we really don't have a number limit at this point, right?
Yay.
So yeah, so submit your quilts. It'll be fun. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you for volunteering to help organize this. And speaking of volunteers, we need your help. So active engagement is one of PMQG's values, and we cannot have a successful guild without member support and member help. And there are many new ways that you can get involved, and I'm going to highlight some of them here. The first one is to become a 2022 board member. Elections are coming up, and I have a few slides about what that entails after I just cover these really quick. The next is we're looking for a open SO Day coordinator, and we're also looking for meeting location committee members. So for 2022, our board, we will be holding elections between October 21st through the 28th via electronic ballot. Candidates are asked to self-nominate, and nominees are due by October 20th by midnight Pacific time. And so basically just nominating yourself is just emailing the guild and saying, hey, a programs chair, or I'm interested in, you know, the vice president positions. Or you can even just email in and ask a question if you're curious about finding out more. There's a list of the board positions and responsibilities found under the website under the About tab. The term of the board position is a year. And let's see, and we can now open this up to our international members. So if you are not local to Portland, you can definitely, since we will be on Zoom next year, board meetings will take place on Zoom, everything will be on Zoom. You are welcome, and we welcome you to volunteer to be on our board. We would love to have somebody that's not even local be on the board. I think that'd be really great. Jenny McKee has self-nominated for VP of Membership and Procurement. And if you don't know Jenny, Jenny is a fantastic person. She's a very interesting person and has some very interesting hobbies that, and things that she does that I think you would really enjoy getting to know her better. And as of today, we don't have any other nominees. So please don't think to yourself, oh, well, there's 350 people, somebody's going to take the job, because if you're thinking that, probably everybody else is thinking that. So we really encourage you to kind of think about what could I do to help out the guild. And we really need a board, because if we don't have a board, we really are not going to be able to have fantastic programming for next year. So there's a few benefits to becoming a board member, and it's really the best way to make a positive impact on guild activities. So if there's something that you don't necessarily like about the guild, it's a great way to get in and make a positive change there. Or if you love PMQG and you want to see us continue to operate in the same way, join the board and you will make an impact that way as well. We're going back to having free membership for board members in 2022. This is something that we've done in the past that kind of went away, and we are bringing this back. So this will be as a thank you, not have to pay your membership dues. Board members also get first dibs on workshop registrations. So you don't have to set that alarm on your phone to register for workshops to make sure that you get in, because you're competing with 300 other people. You will also get to meet leaders in the quilting industry. So for example, Krista Henneberry, Susan has been in contact with her to help her get organized with this meeting. And there's been so many other people that we've been able to meet. I got to meet Jackie Gehring, which she's like my quilting hero, and chat with her one-on-one, and it was great. So you will also be able to help bring exciting programming to the guild. If there is somebody that you are like just dying to hear from and would love to see a lecture by, volunteering for the board is a great way to bring that person in, because you are helping to decide which programs the guild will have. You'll make new friendships. I will say that being on the board and working with other members of PMQG, you will absolutely bond in ways that you will not even realize with the other people that you're working with, because it is a hard job, but it is a rewarding job. And also you will gain transferable skills for future employment. If you want to, you can say, I served on the board of this nonprofit and there was 300 members that we were serving. And it's just a thing that you can put on your resume, which I think is great. So if you're interested in joining the board, please email us. If you want to talk to a board member that's doing the job that you might think that you're interested in, let us know. Calls with you to tell you about what we do, about how long we work per week on these things. Yeah, so please think about volunteering for the board. And I know that it says, that if two people volunteer for the same position and both people are willing to share the position, we will be able to accommodate that, and we can have more than one person in the position as well. Okay, so Day at Beaverton is October 2nd. However, we need a volunteer lead for this. So basically, we already have a team of Day volunteers each month, but we need one person who's able to coordinate those volunteers. They also need to be able to be the contact person for Millend. So there's a key that we need to get. And we really only need one person getting that key and giving the key back at the end of the day. And then also just responsible for ensuring a successful day. So just making sure that everybody's set up and everything's running smoothly. So please, if you're interested in volunteering to be the lead for day, email us. Otherwise, we're going to have to cancel day for October. We are looking for members to serve on our meeting location subcommittee. So currently we only have one volunteer for this important subcommittee. So the last time I counted, there's 17 potential locations that have been identified so far, including St. Andrews. St. Andrews is still on the list. And the DEI committee has come together and created a list of the most important criteria when considering a new location or the same location. But it takes a lot of work to research these locations. And we are not going to be able to move forward on this without people being able to not only research the locations, but if we narrow it down, be able to tour the locations and see if they truly can accommodate our needs. So if you are interested in serving on this subcommittee, please also email the Guild. We do have a little bit more time now to work on this since we will be virtual in 2022, but this is still important to take a look at. So speaking of how 2022 will be online, I understand that a lot of people are missing the one-on-one interactions that you have in a Guild meeting setting in the community and the people that you meet and are inspired by. So if you have an idea for a safe and socially distanced activity, maybe like just an outdoor show and tell or a mixer, something that would take place at a park that you would like to organize, contact the Guild with your idea. So currently with all of the bonus programming and end of the year things, the board's not able to organize additional in-person activities. So we really need your help to get some in-person activities going if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, and Susan, did you want to talk about DEI and what you're working on?
Yes, thank you so much, Chris. I just wanted to add that our DEI committee, which I co-chair in support of Kimberly Benefield, who is an amazing leader, will be meeting again on this coming Tuesday. We adjusted our monthly meeting for the Jewish High Holy Days and also our DEI meeting. So thank you for the flexibility, everyone. Tuesday, September 14th at 7 p.m. we'll be meeting on Zoom. The link is on our members only page. To click right on it and enter the meeting. We'll post an agenda in the days before the meeting starts. Kimberly has some wonderful steps forward she'd like to focus on for ensuring inclusion rather than just being reactive and always responding to things as they come up. Our work is really the long and important process of educating ourselves and making our guilds better and focusing on the roots, not the branches and the leaves. Where can we make deep, lasting change, and how can we be the best organization and the most inclusive, equitable, and honoring group that we can. One of the big projects we're focused on, which we have several volunteers for and would welcome your help and input, is that we're able to offer a guild-wide DEI education opportunity. At this time, we're planning to work with Construct the Present, which is a Black and women-owned organization here in the Portland area, and they offer Zoom opportunities for example, Multnomah County Library, offices and workplaces, nonprofits like ours, to create a space for up to 50 people to learn together. And our board this year has prioritized this as an investment, which I'm very appreciative and thankful for. So if you're interested in shaping this opportunity and being part of the planning, we would welcome your help. If you're interested in attending, please let us know and we'll announce as soon as we have dates or specifics. But that is one of our dreams, is to bring something together that will really unite all of us in the shared learning opportunity to become more anti-racist, become more inclusive, and do better work together. MQG, we shared this last month, is coming up with a grievance form and process that should be coming later this month. And I think will be an incredibly positive and constructive tool for difficult situations that arise in guilds. There are over 200 MQG chapters globally, so this will benefit all of us. And for anyone who's interested in this process, please just check in with us and we'll keep you posted. But MQG should be announcing it and sharing it with guilds so that we can, you know, have this important structure and tool for anything that arises. Another focus is inclusion and accessibility for meetings. Since our guild leader membership across the board definitively voted for meeting on Zoom in the next year, we will be focusing our efforts for the short term on how to make these Zoom meetings as accessible and inclusive as possible. When we are closer to meeting in person, we would like to really focus those efforts on the in-person spaces being beyond an ADA accessible to anyone who has obstacles to visual, auditory, or mobility, really being able to be comfortable, safe, respected, and cared for in those spaces. So we would really welcome your partnership and help. And thank you so much to everyone who's participated. You are making our guild better, and we're deeply thankful for you. And Kimberly will be sharing some wonderful ideas on Tuesday next week. So we look forward to seeing you there. And then we'll publish minutes. If you're not able to attend live, you'll be able to see what we're working on. And we always welcome conversation and dialogue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. And thank you, Susan and Kimberly, for leading the DEI committee.
Oh, me again. Hi. I just wanted to give a very quick shout out. I know that this has been a long and wonderful night. We have our 4th annual fabric fundraiser. It will be just after next month's monthly meeting. We would absolutely love to have you participate, and there's lots of information that Anne just linked. I don't want to take our evening with us because it is very clear and available online. If you have any questions, you can always email the guild. We'd be thrilled to chat with you. But Allison Evans, one of our superstar members, is partnering with me to run the fabric fundraiser. It will all be on Instagram. We have a secondary account called PMQG Gives Back, which is going to be a chance for anyone who would like to donate fabric, sewing supplies, sewing machines. Last year, the showstopper was that Allison donated a sewing table. And some items will be pickup only, like local only for our Portland and Oregon and Vancouver and Clark County area friends. Others will be very easy to ship. And so we truly appreciate your partnership in either donating something that you're ready to pass on, or bidding generously and getting excited about it, sharing it with friends. Renee and Allison are amazing and have wonderful photos that they've already taken of some of the many donations that Renee, our current VP for procurement, has gotten donated from different companies. I think the quote I heard was, "There's so many jelly rolls, I can't even believe it." So if you're interested in, we may have some sneak peeks to share, but our dream is to outraise our last 2 years. And CARES Northwest is an organization that's very close to Allison's heart. And next month, we'd love to invite someone from CARES Northwest and from outside in to come to our meeting and speak on what their mission is and what they do. But Allison's insider and appreciation and love for CARES Northwest has really inspired me. They work with children in the region who are at risk of or who have experienced child abuse. And their approach is incredibly affirming and healing, and in a way that does not put children through further trauma. And they work with all the area hospitals to bring these children to a place of just growth and healing rather than reliving what they may have gone through. Outside In is another amazing organization, over 30 years of, actually I think over 40 years of reaching those at risk in the downtown Portland area. They have a special focus on younger folks, LGBTQ folks, and houseless folks. And their vans and outreach volunteers offer safe, respectful, comfortable, and affirming healthcare, including for trans and non-binary and genderqueer folks. So what I love about their mission is how incredibly inclusive it is. And both of these organizations absolutely align with our values. So if you have fabric that you're looking at like, ready to let go of that and then maybe find your new favorite thing, we would love to benefit these organizations if you're willing to team up with us. All donations go directly to the organizations. There's no writing us a check or bringing us cash. You'll make a donation exactly in the amount or over if you're feeling generous directly to those two organizations. And it's your choice. You can split it evenly. You can choose one over the other, whatever you'd like. And then your donor of your item will get in touch with you to get you your new favorite thing. So if you have any questions, let us know. We're really appreciative of the opportunity to do this again. And a huge thank you to Allison and to Renee for being so incredible. It just really means a lot to be able to do something like this in such a busy time and such a lonely time. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've seen some of the things that Renee has gotten, and you don't want to miss this on Instagram. So small groups, we have a new small group coordinator who is going to help us kind of join together virtually or in person, depending on what you're looking for in a small group. The new survey is on the members page now. You can fill it out and we can help connect you with other members that have similar interests. And it should be a great opportunity to get to know other people in your guild. And speaking of small groups, we have a new small group, which is the Quandee small group that formed after shop. And it is meeting every other week on Tuesdays at 11. Anybody who's interested in Quandee is welcome to join. The first meeting will be on September 14th, and the Zoom link will be in the members section of the website. And I also believe that the group will be posted on the calendar in the events section on our website as well. And if it's not there, it will be there soon. Charity Sew drop off and pickup is September 25th from 10 to 1. You can find the address in the members section of the website. Please don't bring free table drop off. And basically anything that you want to work on, sky's the limit. They have binding, they have quilting, they have piecing, they have quilt kits available. Just stop by, see how you can help. It's actually kind of fun just to see other guild members in person there too. Charity zipper bags. We are still sewing charity zipper bags for Portland Homeless Family Solutions. There's kits available, and the kits are also available at the free table. You can drop off or pick up. So either pick up a kit or drop off your completed zipper bags to the address that is located on the members only page, and just text before you come. And they still are looking for gallon size freezer bags and fabric, which would be a ½ yard or more. The free table will be on Saturday, September 18th from 10 to 3. It is at a new location. So thank you, Marjorie, for offering your location. And I do think that this will probably be the last free table for 2021. Unless if somebody wants to host and is also willing to pick up all of the things from the free table. It used to be the responsibility of the board, but we were really having a hard time transporting things back and forth. So If you're interested in hosting the free table, please email us. Otherwise, we can resume this maybe when the weather's nicer again, because it's going to start raining soon. Quilter Filter is on October 5th at 6 p.m. And the topic will be virtual community quilting. And so it will be about block of the months, quilt-alongs, things like that. So join the Quilter Filter if you're looking for a group of people to chat with, and they just usually start with a topic and see where the conversation goes. Let's see, the QuiltCon Community Outreach Quilt, the quilt that won is this one here that was designed by Sam Hunter. If you're interested in making a block for this quilt, sign up on the webpage, and I encourage you to sign up probably right after this meeting, because the form will close down tomorrow. The block of the month, the current one, is Tara still here? It's probably super late for you, Tara.
I'm still here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Would you like to talk about the block of the month this month?
I'll just keep it super short.
Okay.
You guys are doing super awesome. Please feel free to reach out to me if you ever have questions.
Okay.
And then the other thing I was going to say is that sometimes I get the occasional email that someone hasn't received the instructions for that month. Chances are probably what has happened is you've probably unsubscribed to my email list thinking, you know, oh, I don't necessarily want to hear about other products or fabrics. I totally get that. But when you do that, it also takes you off of the block of the month list. And that's totally okay. You just need to reach out and let me know, and I can start sending your instructions to you directly on the first of each month, if that's your jam, and that's totally okay. But other than that, thanks for the night. It's been great.
Oh, thank you. And there's also, just to mention, that meets. So, you know, I realize that we're in September, but it's never too late to join a block of the month. And honestly, I think that you could probably get caught up pretty quickly. Okay, so I was contacted by Quilters Take a Moment. And so Bisa Butler is somebody that is requested a lot to speak at Portland Modern Quilt Guild. And I will say she is extremely busy and extremely hard to book. So if you have been wanting to hear Bisa Butler speak, Quilters Take a Moment is having an event from September 17th through the 18th where she will be talking. And the website to register is on the bottom of the slide, the qtm2021.org. And we are ready for show and tell. And Renee, our VP of Membership and Procurement, will be leading the show and tell tonight.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. So show and tell, we have some fabulous quilts to show. So is Marcia Mursky available?
I'm here, yep. So this is my Stacey Abrams portrait quilt that I made after the 2020 election, just to kind of pay tribute to the incredible work that she did. She helped register over 800,000 voters and helped to flip the state of Georgia. I've shown this on Instagram, so some of you guys have seen this, but I wanted to share it with the Guild, and I also submitted it to the Northwest Quilt Expo. When I started to read up about Stacey, I was amazed by some things. In addition to all of her incredible political work, she's a published author, and she's written 12 books, and she writes not only nonfiction, but fiction also. In fact, she writes romance books. And I thought it was so interesting that she published her first book while she was a law student at Yale. I mean, incredible. Anyway, this quilt is based on a photo by Dan Winters with his permission. Thanks.
Next slide. Is Linda Timms available?
Yep, this is my rhythm quilt that I did. It's a Lo and Behold stitchery pattern. I did the long arming on it, and I did a big stitch hand binding. And when I do big stitch hand binding, I apply the binding to the back and then stitch it on the front so that you can actually see the stitches.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So is Nadia available?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this was my first improv class that I took with Felicity Ronigan. She's a Canadian quilter and teacher in the Okanagan. And this was a bit different from the speed date from improv, where it was a big quilt and we did kind of lay things out in a bit more of a traditional way. So I really enjoyed doing Krista's as well, where it was the improv layout. But yeah, this was my first foray into improv. Thanks.
So how big is that quilt?
It's actually laid over the fence, so you're only seeing half of it. So it's like I can't remember the
Oh
size of
goodness,
it.
it's
But
big.
yeah, it's a cuddle couch quilt for two and a dog.
It's lovely.
Thank you.
So Nadia.
Yep, and this one is Krista showed this pattern, and I switched it up a bit where I ended up focusing on the circles. So it's her round peg square hole, and I call it with a twist because it's not her layout. But I took the class with her, and it was a great class. And yeah, that's it. I love it. Thanks.
Yeah, I was looking at this quilt earlier and just admiring how well it reads.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So do we have Carol Stanley available?
Yes, it's almost 12:30 here in the morning. But yeah. So this is my Marquee Quilt. It was
Chris.
So it was,
There you
it's
go.
not, the designer was Tula Pink, and it was a kit that I bought, oh my gosh, like 5-6 years ago. But there's a Canadian up here out of Ottawa, Jen McMillan, and she's got a company, and it's So Fine Thread Gloss, and she had 100-day sew along. And I found this tucked away in my cupboard, and I thought, perfect. And I really enjoyed making it. It was, it's all hand done. It's with hexes, and it was such a calming thing to do over the summer. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I have no idea how I will quilt it, but yeah, it's I shout out to Jen because it was great. It was a great sew along.
Carol, it's stunning. And
Thank you.
And thank you so much for hanging out. And
Oh,
I can't believe all the work that you did with the hexes on that.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm actually a bit addicted. You know, just like Breen was saying how addictive the small piecing blocks are, the little minis. And yeah, there's a lot of addictions out there. So this is one for me as well. So I think I'll do another. I just like to maybe do my own pattern or something next time, but really enjoyable.
Go for it. Okay, Carol, you're up again.
This is me again. So Tamara Kate is a Canadian designer, fabric designer as well. She does patterns. Did a workshop with her a while ago, and I finished it in August, and hence the name. This one's called Her Big Bling. And I've got to give a shout out to Krista, Tamara. You guys are going to see Andrea soon. And what we did in Canada, what they did during the pandemic is they were offering Thursday trunk shows. And it started with Andrea in the East Coast in Nova Scotia, and they worked their way across Canada. And it was kind of like a tag team thing where everybody did 15 minutes. And so Tamara was part of that. And then it, you know, Krista, so it went right across, and I give them credit because they really, I'm going to get emotional, but, you know, during the early days of COVID, they really, you know, made something special. So I'm a huge fan of her fabric. I am doing another workshop with her, and yeah, check check her out. She's got some great stuff.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, thank you for letting us.
So, Amy, are you available?
Hi, I'm here. No?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Carol, just before I talk about mine, Carol, can you put the name in the chat of who you were talking about? Because that quilt, I love that quilt. Thank you. So this is my city style quilt that I finished like really soon after the workshop. And I realized that I'm fairly new to Portland Modern Quilt Guild, and I don't want y'all to think that this is actually normal for me. Because like Krista showed that Marianne hat quilt, and I was the person that organized that workshop, and mine is literally all still in bags. I think I made one block on it. So that's more typical for me. But yeah, this is the city style one. I loved doing it. I included a picture bit of the back so you can see how much stitching I had. It's kind of the opposite of city style in a number of ways, that it's silk for one thing. I did a lot more stitching than necessary. I actually stitched a bunch down and then went back in and added some extra lines of stitching because I love matchstick quilting and stuff. And while this isn't that, I like to quilt the crap out of things. I also ironed everything and pinned it all because it's silk and it's slippery. So it's kind of the opposite of what a traditional city quilt was, but I had a lot of fun making it, and I want to make a couple smaller, couple small ones. Partway through the workshop, I was like, I'm not going to finish this at the size it's at. So I quickly cut mine down, and I feel like it was a lot more accessible that way. Because I felt like partly in the workshop, because we were all at the beginning, we weren't showing us how to like jigsaw it together later, and that was something that I had fun doing, but I wished I had known how Sujata did it herself. So if you looked super closely, you'd realize that some of these aren't actually still in the spiral kind of like row by row by row, because I was pinning them all in place as I went. Before I got to them, I was able to layer some things in different ways. So yeah, I'm excited to see what other people have made with it. And I am really in love with it. I'm going to give it to my sister, I think, because it's about half the silks were hers anyway. So it's definitely her color palette. And it was fun. So thank you for offering the workshop.
Well, this quilt is mine, and I was following a pattern called Timberline Trails. Well, when I went to put it together, I figured that it didn't read at all. So I changed the design, and I came out with a quilt that I like very much. And my nephew is going to love it. And I used for the first time in the sandwich, I used a cotton wool blend, and I'm just, oh, it feels absolutely fabulous. So next slide. Erin.
Hello. Hi, everybody. This is my Just 12, which is a pattern by our Block of the Month designer, Tara Evans. I believe it's just $4 on her website, and it uses just 12 fat quarters. This was a fat quarter stack of 12 that came from Modern Domestic. It was their PMQG poll. And so I purchased this and made it using Tara's pattern.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, so that is all for show and tell. Thank you to everybody who hung in there till 9:30 Pacific time. I have no idea what time it is where you're at. Just a quick summary of the important dates coming up. Our next meeting is October 21st at 7 p.m. with Tara Miller. our workshop with Krista Henneberry, I think has sold out, but there is a wait list, and there is actually usually movement on the wait list. So if you're interested in taking this workshop, please sign up. And let's see, the free table will be September 18th, Open Sew Day, October 2nd, Charity Quilts, October 25th. Our bonus programs, September 25th with Meg Cox and Valerie Wells. September 30th will be our Longarming program. October 9th will be Andrea Sang Jackson and Audrey Esseray. Our Queer Quilters small group is September 22nd. Our Sunday small group is September 12th. Block of the Month small group, October 1st. And the Quandie small group, I believe, was September 14th, if my memory is serving me correctly. And the DEI committee meeting is September 14th as well. All of this can be found on our website in the calendar. So basically, if you go to the events tab and click on the calendar, you'll see all of this information there. So thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. And we will see you next month. I'll keep the Zoom open if you want to hang out and say hello. I'm logging off because it's my bedtime. So good night, everybody.